These are the lanterns of ancient Tallinn, and this town is Tallinn with its old towers, walls and streets. This film is about HARJU Street, the street which has changed the most due to history and fate. In the year 1154, an Arabian geographer Al-Adrisi put Tallinn on the world map for the first time. He characterizes the stronghold of ancient Estonians as a small town resembling a big fortress, which the Danes, led by the king Waldemar, conquered in 1219. Town hall is situated in the heart of the town. During the reign of the Danish kings in 1248, Tallinn was given the town rights of the leading town of Hansa Union, Lübeck. Those regulated also building activities. The town rights of Tallinn were festively confirmed by all later governors. In the Middle Ages, on the first summer holiday, the best crossbow shooter was elected in the parrot garden behind the town gate. The rich young men had to hit parrot figures on the stick. The legend tells that a poor boy, Thomas, could not help shooting the parrot figure just before the competitors arrived in the procession. To his friend's delight, he hit straight in the bullseye. Instead of punishment, the boy was invited to join the security team of the town. When the young man grew old, he became Old Thomas. The wind flag on the town hall was named after him. German merchants who came to Tallinn from Ojamaa by the orders of the order in 1230 built a church dedicated to Saint Nicholas, patron of merchants and seamen. They settled on the southern side of the town, along the road leading to the west to Pärnu and Riga. HARJU Street became the main street of the medieval town, on the southern side of which was the HARJU Gate. That was the way out of the town to HARJU Hill, the parks, orchards and pastures situated around the town. In 1875, the HARJU Gate was demolished as the street became the most representative business quarters. New buildings were built, the old ones were changed, the front sides of the medieval buildings were renovated. The three-story building known as Hotel Golden Lion stuck in the eye among the lower row of houses of HARJU Street. The rooms of the fancy hotel waited for the honorable guests. The First World War did not damage the appearance of Tallinn. After the War of Freedom, Tallinn became the capital of Estonia. The visit of the President of Finland, Rylander, in 1920s strengthened the mutual ties of the two states born in the First World War, Estonia and Finland. When the King of Sweden, Gustav V, honored Tallinn with his visit in 1929, the streets of Tallinn were bordered with people at the length of 5 kilometers. The oak tree planted by the king decorates the park of Kadriorg. In the beginning of the 20th century, the Finnish architect Elias Saarinen had his vision of developing Tallinn in the east, south and west. Exquisite designs of the city centre, new town hall and railway station were made. As fate would have it, the project of Great Tallinn stayed only on paper. During the first decade of the Republic of Estonia, Tallinn stayed quite provincial. In the city centre, on the corner of HARJU and HARJU Street, there were phone posts. That is Vana Turu Kael, neck of Old Market, in the 1920s. The river of HARJU flew along HARJU Street in the Bay of Tallinn. This is Paks Margareeta, Fat Margaret. There was a market building and some wooden stalls next to the theatre Estonia. The linen was hanging next to the German, these days drama theatre. Medieval Gothic-style town walls and steeples soon got an addition of new vertical dominance of the springing economy of a new state, high chimneys of factories and plants. National economy arose, export increased, gross production of the economy grew. Until 1923, housing construction had stopped due to the renting laws from the wartime. Positive changes were still to come. In summer of 1926, the streets of Tallinn were covered with asphalt. Step by step, the streets were illuminated with electricity. The area between Viru and Vabaduse Square were housed, and it became the center of the city. Former embankments and moats were substituted by new buildings. That was the top of Pärnu motorway. New buildings rose in the town, but not on HARJU Street. The front of the facades stayed the same. Small alleys and inner yards preserved the medieval atmosphere. The facade and interiors of the Hotel Golden Lion got a new, functional look. St. Nicholas Church lived through the 1524 Reformation times, uprising of picture wreckers when the upset crowds wrecked pictures, sculptures and altars. The keyholes of its massive doors were just full on tin. Before the Second World War, the interior of the St. Nicholas Church was one of the most beautiful in town. On the 9th of March 1944, the Red Army Air Force bombed Tallinn. That was a terrorist attack to pay back for Estonians' resistance on the Narva River. The targets were the port and the railway station. More than half of the buildings were destroyed. Thousands of people got killed or wounded. The commander of German occupation forces Litzmann inspects the destructions. 37th HARJU Street quarter suffered the most. On the 22nd of September 1944, the Soviet Red Army forces entered Tallinn without battles. month later, during the first Labour Sunday, the facades from the bombing were destroyed. The whole population of Tallinn was forced to participate in the cleaning of ruins. Everybody got a special workbook. Supervision was done by the main architect of the town. In 1945, the town's architecture administration drew up the general plan of Tallinn. Its preliminary scheme emphasized preserving the old town's looks and silhouette. In the same year, on the side of HARJU Street, which had been cleaned from ruins, got a green area as a temporary solution. It was voluntary work, done after the workday, and the green area was ready in 75 days. Bigger changes in HARJU Street started to take place in the 1960s. The east side of the street was built up. The House of Writers, which is architecturally different from the old town, was built, and in 1965 the monument of Eduard Wilde. In 1963, the new general plan of the city was drawn up. Many principles of this plan have been later given up. Many principles concerning the old town were also thrown aside. In 1966, the Board of Ministers' decree established the protection zone of the Tallinn Old Town. It included Toompea, downtown, and the zone of bastions surrounding those two. According to the decree, building in the Old Town was limited and on special circumstances only the buildings matching the atmosphere of the Old Town. Some years later, in 1969, there was a competition of rebuilding HARJU Street. The winner was the work of an architect, Henno Seppmann. The second and third prize were also awarded. The everyday life went on, although the green area of HARJU Street was a temporary solution. HARJU Street is still one of the main streets of Tallinn, connecting the town hall and its square with the main squares of the capital. In the end of the 70s, the town got ready for the Olympics. Tallinn was the 1980 Olympics yachting competition venue. The Olympic torch reached the town hall square along HARJU Street. For decades, St. Nicholas Church stood without its steeple. The steeple was placed for the Olympics, but was soon destroyed by the fire. The renovations started all over again. In the 80s, the location of a new art center was in the center of debates. The best location was considered to be the western side of HARJU Street. The archaeological work was essential in the detailed planning. Another architecture competition was underway, and the fate of the street seemed to be decided. Then started the single revolution, and the tricolor blue, white, black started to flow on Toompea. The dark walls waited for their fate for 20 years. It was clear that re-establishing the looks of the quarters is too much for the new owners. At last, the city authorities decided to buy the area of St. Nicholas Quarters and re-establish the green area. In 2007, the Nõelasilma needle-eye gate of the city's shortest and narrowest Trepi street was restored.
Io quando ho cercato su internet mi diceva che fra le cose da acquistare c'era Londra.
St. Nicholas Church, destroyed in the 1944 bombings, has been restored. The medieval candle holder from 1519, known as Maria's chandelier, and the altar made by the master Herman Rode stand on their old places. In 1993, the Roman Pope John Paul II visited Estonia. The Pope held his Mass on Town Hall Square and was driven there along HARJU Street. HARJU Street has seen the presidents, crowned heads, and the representative of the God. The British monarch, Elizabeth II, passed through HARJU Street to meet the local people. Recently restored HARJU Street green area was quickly accepted by the people. This is a popular place for walking and resting.